Hey everybody, it's Allison again, stlprostretch.com. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Today we're going to talk about opening up the shoulders and the chest. I do have a video on back bending, and I realize, as I go through, the video kind of starts easy and then gets more difficult, and I realize that the more difficult back bends require your thoracic spine to almost bend the other way. And a thoracic spine does bend the other way. It's just most of us slouch. I am guilty. I do it too. I'm a sloucher. I sit cross-legged a lot and I slouch. So the thoracic spine, is from the bottom of the neck down through about mid-back before you get to your lumbar. Your lumbar goes, your lumbar curves this way, right? It can also curve this way. Thoracic spine is above it. And you would think that we don't have a lot of movement in thoracic because a rib cage is there and that's going to, constrict things a little bit. But actually your thoracic spine has more movement than your lumbar. So when you're doing back bends and you have a tight lower back, you're going to have to get that chest opened up somehow. And the younger you are when you start doing these exercises, the better. There are a couple things that you can do. First and foremost, this is probably my favorite, is if you have a foam roller, and if you do not have a foam roller, I highly recommend that you get a foam roller. This is a little 1.5 foot one. 3-foot ones are great too. I'm just going to set this down. I'm going to put my hips in front, and I'm going to position this foam roller so that it's right underneath my shoulder blades. I can feel my shoulder blades poking into the foam roller. So we don't want it too low because that's going to get more into your lumbar. We want it to be right underneath those shoulder blades. And then you're going to put your hands behind your head and just let your head fall into your hands. And see if you can, get the armpits open, the elbows back. And just allow your thoracic to drape over this foam roller. Now, we don't want to go so far that you're feeling like your nerve endings in your arms and your hands fall asleep, but that may happen just a little bit. Also have my knees bent so that my lumbar is curving the other direction. So just hang out here for a couple minutes. It could be as long as you like. We're just training the fascia in the spine and the shoulders to open up and go the other direction to counteract some of the excessive slouching that we all tend to do. So that's a start. Another thing that you can do, and unfortunately for me, I have short foam rollers, so it doesn't really work that well unless I take two and put them together. You can also do this with a rolled up blanket. I'm going to put them this way, bump them up together, and I'm going to sit on them and move myself up so that when I roll back, then I'm too far up, so I'm going to keep moving myself down. When I roll back, my neck is right at the edge of this foam roll. And that you don't have to do that, but it gives a little support to the head and also massages some of those neck muscles right underneath the skull, which feels amazing. So you can kind of turn back and forth. And then we're going to drape the arms out toward the floor. You can bend your elbows a little bit. You could put something like yoga blocks under your hands and just kind of relax into this. Take a few deep breaths. Again, 90 seconds to 2 minutes or more probably should do it. You should notice things starting to relax. Try to pull the shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. trying to give you enough time so you can feel the effects. If you're on your foam rollers and you're doing this right now, just stay there. And I'm going to demonstrate how to do this with some blankets. So I've got blankets over here. Ideally, I would have 4 of them, and I'm rolling them up, and I would put them on top of each other. But probably, for most of us, just having a long line of 1 is going to be enough for the chest. Again, I'm going to lie down on this and drape the head back, and then let the arms fall open. Palms up, if I didn't say that already. I don't think I did. So this is another way to train the chest to open up and try to open your thoracic spine. Now, we can go further. And these are a couple of tips that I used to do in yoga a lot. I'm going to sit on a chair. Any folding chair will do. You could even use a kitchen chair, whatever. I'm going to sit on the edge of the chair. I'm going to grab the arms, or the legs actually, behind me, and hold on, pull. So I'm going to bring my chest forward. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades together, drop them down, and lift the chest. So you can see that. This is slouching. Pull the shoulder blades together. Relax the shoulders. I'm kind of pulling. You could even hold the bottom of the seat if you wanted to. And lifting the chest. So that's another good stretch to try to train your thoracic spine to come into extension instead of flexion. And then, if we want to really take this to the extreme, this is something I used to do in a yoga class, break down poses. I'm going to fold up my mat, put it on top of my chair just to create a little stickiness. And then I've got a blanket I'm going to put on top of that. And I'm going to grab a yoga block or 2 to sit on because I'm short. I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to put my thoracic spine right on top of this chair. I'm going to reach back and hold the top. Now, a lot of you probably don't have, this is a special Iyengar yoga chair. The back is cut out of it. You can buy a folding chair and probably do this yourself, actually. My husband knocked the bottom parts out. So it's not all that stable, but it sure works really well for this type of stuff. And I'm going to drape my thoracic spine over the edge of the chair. And then I'm going to reach back. Now I'm going to do external rotation with my arms. So as I reach back, I'm going to actually lift my hips to get to this position. I'm going to grab hold of the back of the chair and then drop my hips. And then I'm going to try to pull my elbows towards each other. That's your external rotation. And relax your head. You may need another block for your head. And just kind of hang out here for a while. I know, this one's intense. It's not for everyone, but I would say if you really want to work on your back bending and getting your thoracic spine open, this is a pretty good way to do it. I'm going to try to take the curve out of my lumbar spine by pulling my navel in and pulling my tailbone underneath me. And no, it's not comfortable here, but you know, the longer you can hold it, the more your body is going to be trained to move into new positions. Try to relax your breathing. Even though you're in a back bend, it's not easy to relax your breathing in back bends. Takes practice. And then come out. There's another thing you can do. A couple things. If you've got a yoga strap, or let me grab this. We got a yoga strap. This is one of those stretchy bands. Stretchy bands work great too. I have this in one of my videos where I'm pulling back, opening the chest, and then pulling back over again. That's another great chest opener. Just as you come back, pull the shoulder blades together and down as you would in a back bend, and then bring it back over. That's another great chest stretch. I know some yoga studios, and more are getting yoga a rope wall. And the rope wall, you can use it for all kinds of things, but one thing that you do is you're chest stretching. Which is really great if you're trying to open your chest and get into those back bends. All right, so another thing is if you've got one of these chairs, and I just recently got this chair, so I'm pretty excited about it, but if you don't have one, I used to do it with just regular folding chair, and I think my folding chair was a little more narrow, and I mean, for me, I've got narrow hips, so it wasn't a problem, but some people have a little harder time stepping through. This is a great way to, even if you can't do full wheel Urdhva Dhanurasana, you can practice getting your chest open, your thoracic spine open by just draping. So I'm going to sit with my hips almost off of the edge, just my sacrum, my just right at that edge of my hip bone, and I'm just going to fall back and let my upper body stretch out, my chest stretch open, and just let my arms hang. Just kind of move around a little bit here. We still want to get the shoulders down away from the head, if you can, while you're here. And just kind of let everything fall back and relax. And I'm getting some abdominal stretching here. This is a good practice for when you are going to be going into back bends. You do need to contract your abdominals just a little bit while you're here, just to keep the integrity of your lumbar spine. We don't want a whole lot of curve in your lumbar spine with back bends. A little bit, yep, but not a lot. So we want to pull the belly in and up. It also is going to protect the spine by just keeping everything locked in there. So another great thing, another great exercise, stretching exercise to add to your repertoire if you're trying to open up your thoracic spine. Maybe, at that point, you may be able to extend your legs and touch the floor. And then the next thing you know, your hands are on the ground and you're in wheel. Come up, take your hands, put it on the chair, roll it back up again. I know, this was a really different video today. Probably not what you were expecting from me. But I do see a lot of people come to yoga class, and maybe some of them come for years, and they just really, really struggle with the back bends. And most of it's because the thoracic spine is just not open enough. And, if you try to push it too far without your thoracic spine at least being straight and going into back bend, you can hurt your shoulders and your low back. So I would advise working on getting that thoracic spine open, and then before you know it, you'll be doing drop backs into wheel and back up again. Well, maybe not, but for some of you, maybe this is helpful. For some of you, maybe not. But anyway, that was our venture today, was chest opening and get the thoracic spine open for back bends. I hope this helped you, and I hope you can use it in the future. Bye-bye.